Greetings, everyone. This part 2 is still about my hand injury and my music life, but also I want to start with my discouragements of music. I had 2 major discouragement times, lasted even for years at a time. The first time was probably about 25 years ago, and I didn't even want to hear music. It didn't sound good at all, and I've been gospel music about all my life, and I noticed back in those years, my oldest son, Ezra, he would come to me and say, "Dad, listen to this song." And he'd come back and he'd say, "Dad, listen to this song." And he didn't realize what he was doing, but he was getting my mind back in the right direction, I feel now. And, music got to sounding better just after that. And during that time is when I hadn't even owned a guitar for at least a year, if not 2 years, and I went and bought me one and started back. And about, 6-8 years later, I guess it was, when my daughter, Star Johnson, was in early high school years mostly, during that time I had some major discouragements with music, and I wouldn't even want them to play the radio, and I'd tell them to turn it off and this and that, and I hadn't played a guitar probably in a year or more. It's when I took my guitar about that time and gave it to one of my friends, and they kept it about a year. I got it back, played it a time or two, and gave it to somebody else for a year or more, I guess. And, I was bad discouraged, but my daughter would play that bluegrass gospel a lot, a few of those groups, and she just play it, and not long after that, a year or two later, it got to sounding good again. Music really got to sounding good again, and I was glad it did. What you want to do is stay away from discouragement if you can. That's kind of hard to do all the time. But anyway, I won't get into why, but when I hurt my hand, I wasn't really discouraged with not wanting to hear music. I kept hearing it again after that. I hadn't completely lost it. I just hadn't hardly played any mandolin or any guitar at all in a long time. And really, I only learned the mandolin at first, a couple years before my accident or so. My daughter wanted to learn how to play a mandolin, and I sort of learned from trying to teach her, and she learned quite a bit on her own, too, and done real good, but I may have never learned to play a mandolin even first off. It's probably been 11 years or so ago. I may have never even learned if it hadn't been for my daughter, Star, and that got me started kindly. And recently, though, the Lord has really handed it to me, and, I want to get into that some. I'm not, like I said, pushing any doctrines. We're just bragging on the Lord. But right here, you can't see it, but on the wall, I hung my mandolin there. I wasn't thinking, well, I don't want to play it for about a year, but I had just strung it, played it a few times, and wrapped a towel around it for probably at least a year, close to it, if not a full year, I guess. And it just didn't come handy. I was playing a lot of guitar at the time. But long about this time, I laid down one night and not thinking anything about a mandolin. I won't tell the night vision. We don't have time, but I don't need to right now. But I actually, at the end of this vision, I thought actually that I was going to play a mandolin. I didn't understand that when I woke up fully, and really don't even 100% understand it now, but a few months later I did notice. And by the way, just a couple of days later, I got my T5 guitar out, and I see a drastic change even in the guitar. I never had played a guitar that good in my life. And I felt like that, that wasn't the mandolin, but I know that it's possibility it could have meant the guitar. But a few months after that, I noticed a big change in the mandolin suddenly. I probably hadn't even played a few times, even after that 1 year of not playing. So actually the major change was about a year ago, and I even wrote it down that I feel my vision was being fulfilled in August of 2010. I would get these little tunes that just tickled me inside. The Lord started giving me songs to write, and I had no idea it would fit the mandolin later. I always was used to composing and finding the chords after most of the words I'd get, and sometimes I'd get all of the words to a song, and I'd work it out on the guitar. Sometimes it was easy, and sometimes it took a while, of course. But the Lord always guided me into the melody of the songs. A lot of times lately I could even hear the melody as I got the songs. But anyway, there was three, I'm pretty sure 3 of these songs last fall. I couldn't get it on the guitar at all, but I had already been playing some little tunes, some little melodies on the mandolin, even days or weeks before I got the words to these 3 songs. And I tried it on the mandolin, and it just fitted the first time. And one of those songs was It Took 50 Long Years Just to Find Me, though I found so many others long before. Now, I posted the first videos, I posted Chet Atkins, Jerry Reed. That's okay. But I finally found me, the Lord showed me myself, how that He's given me these things. And I want to mention, by the way, the third time that I really got discouraged, I hurt my hand, I was discouraged, not working, and my son Joel would come around and he'd say, him and my son-in-law Josh Johnson too, they kept wanting me to play this, and my son would say, Dad, play this song and play that song. And that really was encouraging and get my mind back on track to where the Lord could use me later. It was getting me on track. They didn't know what they were doing. And I really appreciate everybody, regardless it's commented, but I noticed my youngest son, Joel, he kind of did like my other 2 children previously. And he said, I want to hear the Uncloudy Day. And I could play it, but I couldn't really move around on faster songs. But then, really, if it wasn't for my son-in-law, Josh Johnson, I may have never been on YouTube, at least for years. I didn't really know what it was. And he came over one Thanksgiving on the first few videos, and he taught me into putting some videos on YouTube. And first I didn't want to, but him and Joel then put it on there, and I'm glad that I decided did. A day or 2 later I saw I was glad I did. So really, what I'm trying to say is, all of my music now is fully credited to the Lord, because and you'll see in the future videos, I'm going to do I Fly Away, and it ain't that's the only thing I like to play. I like to play Amazing Grace too, but if any of y'all have requested videos and I've not got them on yet, I apologize, but I have to do the way the Lord wants me to do, and I'm a long time ever getting back on here, I realize, but I'm probably going to be on here a little steadier now that He's moved me to tell this. And I really appreciate all you all. And the biggest thing again is I wanted you, the Lord, to see, I wanted you to see the Lord in my hand today. I don't know no other way to tell it, but I hope you see Him in my hand. He's been so good to me. He's blessed me so greatly. I'll never be able to tell it. But I thought I'd try in a few words. And I'll see you next time.